Hi, I'm Max Breyer.
And I'm Ella Watts.
And we're the team behind Upriver, Downriver, a magical, fantasy, tarot-inspired role-playing game currently on Kickstarter.
Upriver, Downriver is a game about choices, journeys, and the promises you make to yourself and those around you.
As the crew of a ship sailing the Great River, you'll pledge an extraordinary oath to reach either the mythical source of the river to find knowledge, magic, and power,
or the sea to find freedom, redemption, and a better world. And for every backer we receive, we'll donate £1 to the River's Trust.
Search Kickstarter for Upriver, Downriver and start your journey. Thank you.
And in the words of an old sailor's blessing, may your anchor be tight, your cork be loose, your rum be spiced, and your compass be true.
That sounds kind of wrong.
Life's a game, the world's a stage, and we are merely role-players, where theatrical people play role-playing games. I'm Matt Boothman, and I'm your compere for this Backstage episode from our current main house production. I'm joined backstage by the cast of said production.
Greetings, I'm Josh. I'm playing Ginny Greenteeth, the Spellslinger.
Hello, I'm Ellie. I'm playing Percy Byron, the Exile.
Hi, I'm Nat. I'm playing Gwynned, the Divine.
Hi, my name's Alex, and I'm playing Graham, the Summoned.
But we're not going to talk about those characters in this episode. We're going to come up with some normals.
Normies.
Some muggles.
Yep, because we've got a few non-player characters already established that are kind of, people just around town. I feel like sort of a lot of the non-player characters we have established have been people that we've had to come up with because they're on a character sheet. And as such, they've ended up being, some sort of fae or some sort of wizard or some sort of whatever. And I'd like to flesh out the non-magical, the mundane side of Sherrydown if we can. So I'd like us for each of the four of you to come up with a non-player character and flesh out like the shopkeepers, the lollipop ladies, etc. of this small town. And I feel like that's probably a good jumping off point for them is starting with what role do these people play in the community, and then we can kind of build from there.
I'm thinking straight away postman.
Yeah.
His name is Dennis.
Dennis the postman, I like it.
Dennis, not the menace.
It's all about the rhyming surname.
I know, right? Dennis Grantham?
Ooh, Grantham, that's good.
It's quite a grand name.
Yeah. Getting down to Nabby vibes. Anybody else got a profession in mind?
Yes, the owner, or proprietor of the Greasy Spoon at which we often spend our time.
Yeah.
I think she's called Beryl.
Nice,
Yeah. Nice.
Good name.
Yeah.
The Peril?
I was like, Matt beat me to it.
Are all the people that live here wrestlers just out of interest?
Yeah. They've all got great spandex.
They've all walked out the pages of the Beano.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah.
Beryl Pilkington.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Beryl Pilkington, who runs the Greasy Spoon.
Yeah.
Does that Greasy Spoon have baked beans?
Yes.
Good.
Of course.
Went to a Greasy Spoon the other day and they're like, we don't do beans.
What?
Oh, well, quite.
Outrage.
I hope you walked out after flipping the table.
I didn't. I'd already ordered. And I was hungry.
And you had the driest full English breakfast known to man.
Yeah, so weird. No beans. Ridiculous.
Beryl once went to a place that didn't do beans and vowed that she would.
If anything, she does too many beans. It's like the spam sketch from Monty Python.
Yes.
It's beans.
I feel like this is a bit of a cheat, but I was thinking of introducing a character that I put in my secret off-air one-shot.
In an off-air one-shot, yes.
That is not for public consumption.
Go for it.
Because it was so rude.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
Saucy. No, it was not. But I went to look up my notes. My digital notes did not contain his name because I came up with it on the fly. So it's in my notebook, which I neglected to bring with me.
Who is it?
The arsehole Tory MP.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember his name.
Yeah. Narrow it down.
I've decided now is called Jack Mangrove.
Jack Mangrove.
Yeah. MP or councillor?
Oh,
Tory MP probably wouldn't live in the town, would he?
No, local councillor, but it's still that vibe.
I feel like he was called Colin or something like that.
Or maybe.
But it doesn't. I love the Jack Mangrove.
Yeah.
What a wanker.
Yeah.
Lives in a swamp.
Very sweaty.
And also to the...
We tried to drain the swamp.
Yeah.
But Jack Mangrove was there.
And it was like, I need it to live.
And in that same one shot, the waitress at the B&B, not the B&B, the waitress at the Greasy Spoon was called Ronnie.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, we have Beryl and Ronnie. Beryl runs the place, Ronnie's the server.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go, that's more NPCs than I was expecting. Josh, any thoughts?
So we've got a postman,
Mm-hmm.
a counsellor,
Yeah.
and a cafe owner.
Yeah.
I'm going to be uninspiring and I'm going to take one of your suggestions. I'm going to take Lollipop Man.
Yeah.
Lollipop Person, Traffic Guardian, whatever they like to be called.
Traffic guardian. I will guard you, traffic. Behold my trafficy power.
Do they call them crossing guards in the States?
Crossing guards.
Yeah, mad, aren't they?
Nah, Lollipop Person.
Yeah,
Lollipop Person.
Yeah, okay.
Recent retiree, because a lot of them are, aren't they?
Okay.
Well, they certainly were when I was at school. I've got a name.
Yep.
I've done my usual thing of just go onto Google Maps and search for random villages in the middle of Gloucestershire. So this chap is called Charlton Abbott.
Ooh.
Nice.
Very good.
Charlie for short.
Charlton Abbott.
Love that he's shortened Charlton to Charlie, which is the same amount of syllables.
Not quite as posh though, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd like
More
to...
relatable.
Yeah.
Chaz.
Yeah, see.
What sort of... so each of you tell me, for the character that you've just come up with, what is an experience that your player character has had of that person? Just so we can get a sense of what they're like.
I've accepted post from Dennis and creeped him out because I sniffed it.
And what sort of response does Dennis have to that? Kind of a stoic? Does he never bring your post again? Like,
I think he continues bringing the post because, it's his job. But is a bit more wary and is very hopeful that he doesn't have to encounter Graham again.
Okay.
Like most people, really. And I think Graham was fascinated by our use of stamps and just the postal service in general. Cause,
I bet he asked him a lot of questions.
Far too many questions. Far too many questions.
yeah. And so if he treats this as like, well, this is my job, I've got to do it. Do you think he tried to answer those questions to the best of his ability, or was he like constantly trying to get away?
Column A and column B, just like sort of answering questions whilst backing off, hoping at some point that I'd stop.
Okay, so like not forceful enough to be like, I've got other things to do, not my job, mate.
He's a nice enough individual that he wants to sort of like answer the questions, but at the same time he has got other things to do. So yeah.
Yeah, and last bastion of the postal service. All of the other mail delivery people around Sheridan are all bringing Amazon packages and in their yodel vans and that kind of thing. But no, Dennis still pushing his bright red Royal Mail trolley.
Absolutely.
Nice. Anyone else?
I feel like Jack Mangrove came across Gwynned while she was doing some staff twirling practice kind of in the woods, and he was going for a jog. And he probably tried to tell her that she couldn't do that. But also in that horrible, smarmy kind of slightly come on kind of way, really horrible. But she just completely didn't understand at all. And now he's trying to set up a petition that you can't be wielding weapons or doing circus arts in the woods.
What a prick.
Yeah.
I hate him. He doesn't exist. I hate him.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing blue pinstriped suit. Not when he was jogging in the forest, but
Hey, why not? Maybe he's
Lycra
got-
blue
yeah.
pinstripe suit.
oh, pinstripe lycra. But yeah, I can feel the smarm and the like. Well, I know the local ordinances, and I know that you shouldn't be doing that, even though you're harming nobody.
Yeah.
He sounds like he probably would have got up in Percy's grill as well, because one of the things we established in our non-recorded session was that Percy runs like mixed martial arts sessions for mostly the older women of the community.
Pre-suffragitsu.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Suffragitsu.
Have you not heard of that? It's a genuine thing.
I just forgot about it.
And he presumably would have taken offence at that as well. Because we probably practice in the woods quite a lot.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he couldn't have picked on two worse people. You know, two people that would have given less of a shit than Gwynny and Percy.
I reckon, in terms of Beryl at the calf, Percy and Beryl got into it over the quality of the black pudding that she's got in stock. Because that's one of Percy's favourites, very much like a reminder of home situation. And Percy is not a charming person, so she would have gone straight in there with a heavy critique. I think Beryl pushed back, and I think they ended up going on a day trip together to visit the local farms and suppliers. And as a result, Beryl has changed suppliers. She's got and Percy negotiated some really good deals with the local farmers and whatever else. So they're now like, they get on really well.
They've earned each other's respect.
Very much so. And Percy always gets like some freebies chucked in with whatever she's ordering.
Nice. From old black pudding Beryl.
That's right.
I now
Love
want
that
full
friendship.
English.
A friendship forged in black pudding.
Yeah.
Amazing.
What does Beryl have an attitude to the Graham going through her bins? Because that happens. I mean, I think we established that Graham prefers the bins out the back of the subway.
Yeah.
But
he's a big fan of those.
the greasy spoon will do in a pinch.
Absolutely.
I reckon Beryl's seen some weird shit and she's not really fazed by it. In fact, she probably thinks it's useful because it means that the bin is not as full.
Yeah.
And the local council really crack down on how much waste local businesses can put out.
It's a mangrove re-election issue.
Yeah, I bet Mangrove got involved in that as well.
Yeah.
Mangrove.
So I reckon for her, it's a win.
Great. And what about Charlton Abbott?
I think Charlton holds a flame for Ginny.
Oh, really?
I think that he is recently retired, recently widowed. He takes the lollipop man job to give him something to do, and I think he shows a bit of an interest in Ginny, and Ginny ain't having none of it.
Oh.
Ginny purposefully avoids the street that he works on, the heat cards, so she doesn't have to have a conversation with him.
I mean, it's bad. It's a bad place to be when it's like the school run. Like, I don't imagine Ginny wants to be around small children either.
No, I don't think she gets on with them.
The small children and a recent retiree who's coming on to her.
Yeah. I think like the first time she wanted to cross the road, he came over and really like grabbed her and tried to like
the old lady across the road.
because she was doing her old lady impression to avoid suspicion, and she's like, "Fucking get your hands off me."
Do you think part of the reason she really does, apart from that incident, was clearly would put you off on the wrong foot? But do you think one of the reasons that she doesn't like him is that he will talk to her about old people stuff?
Yeah, 100%. And she's not interested because she's got an intellectual romantic relationship with Graham on the go because they talk about stuff that's not old people stuff. They talk about summoning and about divination and about.
Whereas he just wants to talk about whether she watched the latest episode of Deal or No Deal.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have
absolutely
enough
not
tentacles. So.
No.
Right, it's a problem.
The way I see it, do you remember in the movie Mrs. Doubtfire, there's that bus driver that really takes a liking to Robin Williams as Mrs. Doubtfire. Always talks to him, and he's like, "Oh, okay, never mind." And tries to keep away. He's just a nice lonely old man, but he's chatting up the wrong girl.
Lovely. Getting a sense of these people. The last thing I want to ask about all these four new people is what they stand to lose in the kind of monster attacks that are becoming more and more frequent in Sheridan these days.
I imagine
If they
the barrel
remember
of
them.
If they remember them.
which they probably.
And, we can obviously take it as read. They could lose their lives. These are deadly. But,
I assume with Beryl, it's constant property damage.
yeah.
Because I imagine the calf gets smashed up quite regularly.
Market Street got smashed up pretty bad in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess it's, property damage and therefore losing customers.
Yeah.
I mean, Mangrove has so much paperwork to do now. After all that, he's probably fuming.
And, people, when bad stuff happens in town, people tend to vote out the incumbents.
Yeah.
That's just what you do. That's what you do. Vote out the incumbents when things are bad.
Yeah.
What a good idea, Matt.
What was that about, voting out the incumbents?
It's a thing that you should do when things are bad.
Right. I might bear that in mind next time there's a vote that I'm eligible to take part in.
And are you registered to vote, Ellie?
I actually am registered to vote.
Oh, that's good.
In fact, I'm so concerned that I want to make sure I can always vote, despite whatever circumstance I might be in. So I'm registered for a postal vote, Natalie.
Oh, what a brilliant idea.
gov.uk/register.
Speaking of postal votes, what about Dennis the Postman?
Sublime. I think with Dennis the Postman, it's just disruption to his route.
Yeah.
So if he has to go a longer way round, if there's like disruption or literal rubble that he's got to walk around, he's like, oh God.
Imagine sometimes, he might be in line to be kind of the first person to discover things sometimes. Like, if there's like a haunted house situation, he might be the first person to notice that, I can't get stuff through the letterbox because it's all piling up.
That is a good point. I haven't considered that. Yeah. So he might, unwitting first responder.
Also, I think a postal worker is often sort of invisible to people. So I wonder if he's actually witnessed quite a lot of strange activity in the town, because people doing spells or monsters or fights that are happening, a postal worker sort of just blends into the background, and he could just be in the background of a filmic shot being I just need to deliver this to 14A.
But it appears to be on fire.
Well, it does beg the question then, has he developed a system to remember things that he constantly forget?
That's what I was thinking.
Flip of that is he just completely always oblivious. He sees so much that he just is there's chaos happening in tourist trap down the street, and he's just there on his little bike, just going through it, completely oblivious.
He's been overexposed to it. It doesn't even register to him anymore.
Which way?
Which way? His mind's just his mind palace is just all taken up with the route.
Yeah.
And the postcodes and things. There's no room for any of this other stuff.
Do you think, because with cutbacks, he is now in charge of a much larger area than he used to be. So he has to do the whole of Sherrydown, whereas before there was maybe four posties in the area. So maybe he is just so preoccupied with hitting his targets and his route.
Has he got the cab driver's knowledge in his head, but all of Sherrydown?
Yes. Yeah, so it could be a good, useful person to know.
Yeah, true.
I'm going to leave it down to a roll of a dice. I'm going to use the cursed dice tower. 1 to 3, he remembers all. And then 4, 5, 6, he doesn't.
Oh,
he doesn't remember. He's completely oblivious.
Poor old Dennis.
We must protect it. We must protect.
At all costs.
Yes. And what about Charlton?
Well, Charlton doesn't really have much left to lose, does he? In his tragic existence. That is, except his prize vegetable patch.
Oh, okay.
In the grounds of his very nice house.
Okay.
So if the monster in this game we're about to play is the were-rabbit,
I was just going to say
he's going to have all his carrots and marrows pulled up.
Somehow he just he's growing these marrows, and somehow he always gets pipped in the competition by Mayor Danbrook.
By the beaver.
Jackie Beaver.
Well, amazing. I think we've speed created some, what I think are actually quite well fleshed out non-player characters there, so I love it. Let's see if they turn up.
Great.
Woo.
I love Beryl.
Beryl's good.
This has been Vigil, a main house production from Merely Roleplayers. It stars Natalie Winter as Gwynned, Alexander Pankhurst as Graham, Josh Yard as Ginny Greenteeth, and Ellie Pitkin as Persephone Byron. Sound design for this production is by Natalie Winter,
and the theme music is by Alexander Pankhurst. I'm Matt Boothman, and I play the supporting cast, as well as editing and producing the episode. We were playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat Productions. You can find Monster of the Week at genericgames.co.nz. Merely Roleplayers is a Foggy Outline production in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Until next time, if drama be the food of life, play on.